Has it sunk in yet that this is your race car?
Yeah, obviously this is making it get more real, right? But I think obviously the biggest point of the year is probably just me getting Daytona on the grid before the race. That's when it all really sinks in. So it's been a great, experience, kind of integrating with Chevrolet, with Whelen, with RCR. It's gone rather smoothly, I think.
I asked Austin about these media day type pictures. How have you acclimated to that when you got to the point where you did this kind of thing every year? And you've probably done it a few years now, but hasn't been long, has it?
No, I feel like I've done it since I was, dang near, 13 or 14 years old. So I'm used to it now, and I kind of understand the flow of things and how to make it move quicker than it should sometimes. So I enjoy it, though. Obviously, it makes the season, it makes you feel like it's right around the corner, which it is. Obviously, now we're getting kind of into crunch time. So I enjoy this stuff, and obviously the stuff they got out of it is really cool.
Coming from the ARCA cars and having I think one truck start, how different is this? Austin told me a little bit about his workings with you on sim stuff, but how different do you think this is going to be?
It's a good bit different. The lucky thing for me is I've driven so many different types of cars that I never really got my driving style fixated on one technique or one style, I guess the best way to put it. So yeah, the ARCA stuff went great. Made some truck starts last year, and that went great as well. So I ran 3 truck races last year and ran in the top 10 in all of them, and got obviously a top 5 at Phoenix. So that gave me some confidence rolling into this year, just to know where I should be and where I should run, and that I can run where I want to be.
When you knew you were going to come to RCR, when you had that deal on the table and even signed, sealed, delivered, so to speak, what kind of excitement level does that bring to you at your age to jump in this kind of equipment?
It's definitely a little of a shell shock at first, like not really realizing, knowing how big of a deal it was, but not really being able to set in because I was so busy still, finishing out my year with the teams I was racing for, and still somewhat racing for a championship at the time. So, it didn't really set in until, I kind of finished where I was and could come over here at the shop and meet my guys and start doing sim stuff and meet my crew chief. And once the work started of getting ready for this year, because there's a lot of work that goes into it, once that work started, that was when everything kind of, felt more real and started to kick things off.
Some race fans who follow closely may know, but tell me about Jesse Love. Who are you, and where'd you get started? How did you get to this point?
Yeah, I grew up racing quarter midgets and then midgets and sprint cars out in California. I started racing when I was about 5 years old, and then got into bigger cars when I was about 10 or 11. Got picked up by different manufacturers when I was about 13 or 14, and then that was kind of when my career kick started, and I was able to move out here when I was probably about 14. I was about 15 years old, so that was big for me, just to get out here from the West Coast and kind of immerse myself into the culture that I was hopefully gonna be living in for the next who knows how many years. So that's been great. Had to let go of a lot of things. I grew up surfing and skateboarding and things like that in California, so kind of getting rid of that and then coming out here and just put my full focus into what makes me drive a race car well, and the different aspects of it that can put you in positions to hopefully sit in a cup car one day is the end goal, and do it successfully. So it's been a journey, but I've had a lot of great opportunities, and God's put a lot of great people in my life like RCR, and I'm enjoying it a lot right now.
When you had the season you had last year in the ARCA car, did that come as not as a surprise to you, but did you realize at the beginning of the season that was going to be, or did something click and you went, wow, this is it?
I think the only thing that clicked was that I kind of stopped caring about winning races, and I just try to focus on doing a good job inside the race car. And once I kind of got detached from being result oriented, and I just started focusing on doing a good job mentally and myself, just how I drive a race car, making sure that's good, and then not caring about the results. Once I focused on my performance and not the results, that was when I started winning a lot of races, and took a lot of stress off of me, and kind of changed my focus on certain areas of my life, took that away and put it in other areas, and that was when things started to click. And then obviously you start finding yourself and who you want to be more, and how you want to represent yourself and how you want to drive and all these things. So that was kind of the biggest thing that clicked for me, and now I feel really confident, and I don't ever really feel stressed because I don't really care about the results. Obviously I want to win, But I know that if I, do a good job and we have successful people around like we do, then, we're going to win races and they'll take care of itself.
What will make this season in this car as a rookie in the Xfinity Series a success for you?
With the format, the Championship 4 deal, like coming out as a champion is pretty tough and, somewhat a little bit of situation based. But I think that racing for a championship and winning races is, the thing is that we're shooting for. So, it might take me a second. Luckily, the playoffs don't start for, 3/4 of the way through the year. So, by postseason, I want to be ready to go race for a championship. And I don't want to, rush, the process of learning these cars and learning how to execute at this level. But obviously, I got a great teammate in Austin Hill and a great crew chief in Danny Stockman, and Austin's got a great crew chief in Andy Street. So, people like that, Danny Lawrence, those people that are helping me get better, just listening to them. And I think if I do that and then I, take what they say and do it, that by the time postseason comes around, we can race for a championship.
What kind of back and forth have you had with Austin yet as a teammate to kind of learn what his mindset is and to know what, when you get on the racetrack, you guys can be compatible, so to speak, or work together in a way that brings both of you to the front?
Yeah, I knew Austin from, when I was racing for other teams and he was around, and I think I'm pretty busy, but, I don't have a family with, wife and kids, and he does. He's far busier than I am, but we do get to see each other when we go to sim and here at the race shop and things like that, and text him back and forth. But the biggest thing for me is working with him on the sim program, getting that where we wanted, and I think we did, the last few weeks at the tech center in Charlotte. Just, kind of bouncing ideas off of each other. There's some things that I'm learning from him still of, how my technique, might have to be tweaked or changed a little bit to run this Xfinity car, how I want to run it, might not always be right. So listening to him, and obviously somebody that's done it in won races like he has, it's super easy to listen to him. So, I'm learning a lot, and the sim stuff has gone really well, and there's a lot of, confidence and comfortability that you can find from the sim program when it's right. So I have a lot of fun working with them, and even as crew chief Andy Street and Danny Stockman are, kind of like two peas in a pod. So, everything's working out really well, and I'm obviously, really grateful that I have, good teammates on the 21 car, and looking forward to obviously working with them and learning more from them throughout the year.
I think that'll do it. Is there any one thing about you that would surprise people? That's the one question.
I think I touched on it, just not, now that I've been out here, the last few years, like growing up, surfing and skating, I had, this long bushy hair when I was a kid, and I kind of had to, take a step back from some of that now, and, I'm kind of grateful I did. I feel like I'm taking more serious now. So, I cut the hair off and stop surfing and skating so I don't break any more bones.
Do you find any other hobbies that are a little more amenable to being a race car driver?
I play instruments. I'm a drummer, and I still go on the lake and wake surf and do things like that. Other than that, I don't think I'm boring, but I feel like what you see is what you get.